Hello all. In this session, we are going to understand how we will be able to work with the QuandL platform. So before we get into the QuandL platform, what exactly is this QuandL platform? What is it is going to provide? We will see some basic operation that we left in the previous session. Now, the basic operation that are performed on a data frame is accessing the column directly, and also we'll also be able to access the rows. We'll also be able to filter the data. Let us understand how we'll be able to access the columns. Now, in which you will be able to access the columns by the identifier name. Here we have identifier df. Okay, we just have created a data frame and we just passed into df, in which if you actually can specify one column name, that specific column will be filtered. Right, then you will be able to filter. And we'll also be able to access the rows by the index. How? See, every row, as you know, will get indexed, right? I will show you the index row in the data frame. Yeah, this is a indexed row. If you recall, this is the index. This is the data frame that you have created. This is the data frame that you have created. And this index has been created. The 012 index has been created by the data frame. We'll also be able to access the row, access the record by the index. We'll also be able to access it by the column name or a specific column index. How we will be able to do it? Now the thing is, if you say df, I'll show you here. If you say data frame dot index location. What is this I location? ILOC stands for index location 0. So this is by index. You are accessing the data frame 0th index. In the 0th index, whatever the row that is present, you will be able to access. And at the same time, you'll also be able to specify by a label. You know what is a label? Label is a perfect one of the feature, right? A column. Now, when you say 0, the label-wise index data will be printed. When you say LOC 0, what will happen? The label-wise data will get printed. Now, if you want to filter the data by using several parameters, you'll be able to access. By using several conditions, you'll be able to access. One example condition is in the data frame, I want to get all the values under the age column which are greater than 28. For that, what I need to do? I need to say data frame of age greater than 28. You should be able to abide by the framework. I'll show you here df in the data frame. Again, we need to specify df, in which you need to specify the column in the quotations, in which you just need to write the column name. Right after you close the brackets, you should specify the condition. The condition is now here, the greater than 28. Now, when you close this, you will be able to get all the values under the age column which are greater than 28. Similarly, we'll also be able to add a new column in which simply what you just need to say, you need to get your identifier of the data frame. In our case, it is df, in which you use the angular braces, rather, this is what you call them, the braces, square brackets, in which you need to specify the column that you want to include, the column you want to add to the data frame. Here the column name is gender, and the values of this column are female, male, and a male. 3 columns have been added. One is female, one more is male, another one also is male. Generally, it's just a transgender, but so there are only 3 columns, right? Under the gender, there will be female, male, and a transgender. Okay, so but since this is text data, you should be able to enclose them with the quotations. But the values, all the values should be enclosed by the square brackets. Okay, and then we get into QuandL framework, QuandL platform. What exactly is this QuandL platform? First of all, understand the QuandL is going to provide you various data sets. QuandL is a platform which is going to provide you various data sets, right? From very small data sets to very large data sets, right? From the free data sets to the premium data sets. But if you ever want to use QuandL, there is a proper way to access this QuandL, the platform. So how to do it? Simple. First of all, QuandL is a platform. In order to access the data sets in the QuantDL, you should be able to create an account, such as creating a Gmail account. For that, what you just need to do, you need to create an API key. But first of all, I'll tell you how to install the QuantDL library. It just is going to provide a library. Now, right after you get the library, right after you include the library, add the library, you will be able to access any data sets programmatically from the platform. QuantDL is going to provide you various data sets. By using the Python program through pandas, you'll be able to access any data sets not externally as a part of your program. You'll be able to access them. That's the beauty of this QuantDL platform. Now, how to do it? First of all, you should be able to install the QuantDL library. Simply you should say BASH, okay, PIP, install package, install QuantDL. Right, then what will happen? The QuantDL is going to get installed. Right, then what you just need to do? You need to set your API key. Now, in your Python program, you should import QuantDL. Okay, right after importing the QuantDL, you should create an account. What is the way of creating an account? Here, creating an account is called setting up your API key. And in Gmail, you will call it as account creation, in which you just need to give a unique username. Right then, your username will get created. Your account with respect to Google will get created. Similarly, here, you need to set your API key in QuantDL platform. This API key should be unique. Through this API key, the QuantDL is going to recognize you and it will be able to provide you with the various data sets. Here, the important factor why we require to have an API key is QuantDL is also works on the fair share basis. Okay, it just also puts a limit how many data sets actually can be accessed by the user. To have a track and a monitor on the how many data sets actually you're accessing and importing, QuantDL, first of all, needs you to create an API key which is unique. Through this API key, the QuantDL will be able to monitor. Now, what you do? Simple. You should say QuantDL dot API config dot API underscore key is equal to your API key. This is in the quotations, whatever the API key you want to create, you just can create. If it is already there, it is going to throw an error. It will suggest you the various names of the API keys, but your API key predominantly be unique. This must you understand. Now, right then, just accessing the data sets and performing the operations are quite simple. How? I want to retrieve a single data set from the QuantDL. What should I do? Simply, I should say QuantDL.get. This get function is going to give you the data set. The data set here in the data set, what I'm accessing is wiki slash AAPL. Wiki slash AAPL is going to be one of the data sets. Understand, primarily it's just going to give you a lot of financial data sets. QuantDL is reputed for the financial data sets. Most of the people who are in the stock market, who want to analyze the stock market, the financial data, they will just have to load this QuantDL locally so that they'll be able to have an access to a wide variety of the data set with respect to the finance. So wiki.apl is one of the data set which belong to the finance, if I'm not wrong. Next thing is, if you want to load, if you want to see the data set, just can say, see, the identifier is data. Okay, this total data set will get transferred to the data. And then if you want to see the features, then simply you should say data.head. We will be able to print the first few rows of the data set. Okay, this fetches the pandas data frame, which is going to give you the pandas data frame containing the data set. Now data frame name is equal to data, from which when you say data.head, you will be able to print a first few, typically 5 rows of the data set, that is WAIKI slash AAPL. Now, we'll also be able to specify a date range. How will we be able to specify the date range? Simple. We need to say to fetch the data specific range, you need to start the date, you need to specify the start date and the end date. Now, same get function will also take 2 other parameters, starting date and the ending date. Start underscore date is equal to the date format. End underscore date is equal to again the date format. What is the date format? Year followed by the month followed by the date. Typically here also year followed by the month followed by the date. Now in this data sets, the rows which actually will be filtered by this specific date range. Right, then you will be able to see the first few rows by using print data.head. Now, we'll also be able to load multiple data sets at the same time. How should you do it? Simply, you just can say in the same get function, you should separate two data sets with a comma. Right, then you will be able to access both the set data sets simultaneously. Both the data sets will be loaded in the same data frame. Predominantly, same data frame is going to hold the both data sets. Right, then when you can print the data.head, you will be able to print a first few rows. Now, we'll also be able to fetch the specific columns. How can we do it? Simple. We need to say get. In the get function, we need to specify what do you call the data set name. Right, then we say column index is equal to 4. Now here, in this data frame, we'll only be able to load the column index of 4, fetch only the closed column. Okay, so that's fourth column, meaning it's a closed column. The closed column meaning there is one name called closed column will be transferred. The fourth column is the closed column. That closed column will be transferred to our data set. Okay, so that's it. And now we'll also be able to perform any kind of a query. What's a query? Query meaning based on a condition, we will be able to fetch the data. Just a short while ago, we just have seen how we'll be able to retrieve the data, which is in the, at the, what do you call the column age, where the age is less than 25. By using a specific condition, when we access the data, this is called querying. So right after you load the data locally, you'll be able to you'll be able to access the data, filter the data by using several queries. Now, I'll tell you one example, a few examples. The first one is filtered. I just want to filter the data. Data adj.close greater than 150. Here, I just have fetched one data frame in which there is one column. What is the column name? adj.close. Okay, this is a typical column name in any financial data set. Since we are not related to finance, you people don't know that there is a definite column which is named as adj.close. adj.close is one of the typical financial column that exists in every financial data set. Now, from the adj.close column, where values are greater than 150 will be retrieved and will be transferred to the data. Now, what is the data? Filtered data. From the data frame, we are going to get the values which are greater than 150 from the column adj.close. Then what will happen? Then obviously you'll be able to print the filtered data in which from this column only the values which are greater than 150 will be able to will be printed. Now, let us see how we will be able to do some advanced query. Now, understand. There is something called a rolling averages. What is rolling average? In financial data sets, there is a term called rolling averages. What is the rolling average? Rather than taking an average of an entire column, it is always better to taking the rolling average. What is rolling average? From the first value to the 10th value, there will be, let us say, an average. And again, from second value to the 11th value, there will be a rolling average. Let us say, I just understand 1, 2, 3, 4, so on, 10. These are the first 10 values. When you take not 1 to 10, these are the indexes at which there are some respective values, integer values or whatever, float values. When we take the average of this first 10, there will be some average. Again, when you take again the next 10 averages, it will be somewhat different from the first 10 averages. These are called rolling averages. How will we be able to do rolling averages? We simply say data rolling average is equal to data from adj.close dot rolling. Rolling is a function in which you should specify the window name. What is the window name? Window name is the value. Window is equal to 10, meaning from the current value, including the current value, previous 9 values, mean will be printed because I just am using mean here. What exactly does it mean? Rolling function in which we need to pass the window size. Window size is the total values average that we want to find. Okay, here window size is equal to 10. That means the current value, including the current value, previous 9 values, mean will be retrieved. So the syntax is in the data from this column, okay, dot rolling. In the rolling, we need to specify window. What is the window? The number of, for the number of values you would want to take the mean. Dot mean. It will give you the mean of the previous 10 values. Okay, when you print the data adj.close, and you'll be able to, when you print the data adj.close and rolling average, you'll be able to get the 10. Just a minute. I need to explain you for this one more time. Just miss this. Okay, I just already specified this. Yeah. Now, have a look at this. I just have clearly mentioned this. Data adj.close, this selects the column name adj.close from the data frame. Rolling dot windows 10. This creates a rolling window of size 10, meaning it considers the current value and the previous 9 values, a total of 10 to compute the rolling average. Dot mean, it is going to compute the average. Data of rolling average just adds a new column names rolling average to the data frame. To the entire data frame, what will happen? A new column will get added, which contains the rolling average of the adj.close prices. Okay, so how it just works? Let us have a look at example calculation. This is what I mean. This is the calculation. These are the first 10 values. This is the adj.close column, from which rolling average will be equal to 105.6. Okay. On day 11, the calculation shifts forward by 1 day, dropping the day 1 and including day 11, adj.close, and so on. Now, on the 10th day, this is the average. On the 11th day, what will happen? There will be one more row gets added, from which first row will be discarded. Likewise, rolling average will get calculated. Thank you.